What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Viking Studios, and today we're going to be talking about the Sigma 135mm T2 cinema lens for Sony E-mount, so stay tuned. Alright, so another Sigma cinema lens here. We're going to go over this and give you guys my first initial thoughts and feelings about this lens, what I thought about it on a photo shoot. Even though this is a video lens, we did try it out for photos and also for video, obviously in the field. What did I think about this? Is it portable? Is it versatile? Is it sharp? Is it worth the crazy price tag of $5,000? So let's jump right into it and go over my initial thoughts and field test of this thing. So first thing is, when you open up this lens and you actually hold it in your hand, it is heavy. It's another heavy lens. Most cinema lenses are built like tanks, full metal construction. There's a lot of optics inside the glass. It's really nice, but it is a lot more manageable than the 50 to 100 that we tested prior. This is something that's a little bit shorter. We can show you guys here against the Sony 85mm 1.8. Show you guys a little bit of a size comparison. Even though it's like 5 times heavier than the 85, it's not too far off in terms of size. It does make the camera a lot more front heavy, but it's still within manageable, except, you know, like you can manage it. All the gearing on this thing was super buttery smooth. If you're obviously doing manual focus with it, it was very easy to pull focus and get it exactly locked in on something that we wanted. It's almost to the point where I felt like the gearing on this lens was almost too smooth for handheld. Meaning, if I hold it in my hand, my fingers would be so smooth that when I went to go like move it all, if you just lightly touch the gearing, it was so buttery smooth that it would adjust and you'd have to kind of go back in and like lock it again. So it'd be really nice if they had like a gear locking on that lens or something that you could like lock it in location. But that's again by handheld. If you're using like a follow focus system or something like that, then you wouldn't even have to worry about it. It is designed obviously for video. This is a cinema lens. So most people that are going to be spending the $5,000 on this lens are going to be shooting like short films, things like that. Documentaries would look really well on this. So because it is a 135mm lens, it is really a tight shot. You can get some really epic blown out backgrounds and stuff with this lens, and it does look stunning. It looks really, really good. Ultimately, optically speaking, it has an 82mm front end. Didn't really see much ghosting or flaring. We tried this in studio for photos and in the field, in the city where there's lots of like LED lights and traffic and moving stuff at night, where there would typically be a lot of flares that your lens would capture. This lens is actually pretty good. It didn't really get any flaring or ghosting. Again, just kind of like the other Sigma cinema lenses, when you punch in digitally to magnify and focus and you're manually focusing in, even at far away objects or subjects, you can get really nice focus. The detail and clarity of that lens is unbelievable. You can easily lock in focus on something really far away and it still looks optically clean. Unlike most photography lenses, once you punch in and it's far away, you've got like your atmospheric conditions and wind and elements and stuff like that, flaring, ghosting, all that stuff that kind of like affects that. And the farther away a subject is, you kind of like lose a little bit of that edge. These lenses are stunning. Even at distance, they look really nice. In studio, I was able to manage this lens a little bit better in terms of for photography. It is a 135 lens, so it's kind of a tight shot. Obviously you got to be a little bit further away to take a nice photo of something like that with that kind of a focal length. But speaking about management and everything and holding it, I was able to take some pretty good photos with this thing. We did take another shot here. With minimum focus distance was pretty acceptable as well. You didn't have to be so far away to get kind of, I don't want to say a macro shot, but you can get pretty close to your subject and still be able to get them in focus, which is really nice. I did notice there was a little bit of focus breathing, nothing too crazy, but if you were like looking at a landscape for something crazy with a 135mm and you were doing like rack to focus from, focus stacking or something along those lines, there is a little bit of breathing on this lens. I can't see myself using this for photography, for like landscapes and stuff, but it would be a really baller portrait lens, I'm not gonna lie. For headshots or something like that, it would be really sharp. Optically, it's really nice. The T2, just like the other Sigma lens that we tested out, there was another cinema lens that once you open up the T2, if you push it all the way, it actually would open up to 1.8 on the camera. So it did the same thing, same gearing. The 82mm front, which is kind of nice because you can buy you know, regular filters for that size, so you can get a variable ND or something like that if you're shooting during the day. It's a really good lens for a $5,000 price tag. Is it something that's worth it? I think optically everything is there for the price tag. It is kind of a specialty lens, so you're going to be paying premium dollar for it. It is a cinema lens as well, so it is built like an absolute tank. Would I spend $5,000 on this lens, manual focus only, for you know, mainly a photography business? No, it's definitely pricey for that. It was really good optically. As I said, it's really nice. Of the two cinema lines that we tested out for Sigma, between the 50 and the 100 and then the 135, I definitely preferred the 135 for $1,000 more. Is it $1,000 better than the other one? Probably not. The 50 to 100 is probably more versatile, but is also way more cumbersome to carry around. The 135, if I could choose one to keep, I would definitely keep the 135. I think that was a really just solid lens. But $5,000, unless you're a filmmaker and you need that focal length, I wouldn't be using it too often. It's just kind of pricey, and it's such a niche lens. There's going to be a lot more situations where you can't use a 135, even at T2, than something a little bit wider. It's just a really, really tight shot. Overall, I had a really good experience with the lens. I really, really liked it. If I had to give it a rating here between 1 and 10, I'd probably give it an 8. I felt like it was a pretty solid lens. It has a really hefty price tag, but optically I could justify and see where the R&D went into that lens because it is incredibly sharp. Color rendition was really nice. There was really no flaring or ghosting. It was just overall, it was a really good lens, just a very expensive lens. So hopefully that helped. If you guys are looking for other reviews, you can drop a comment down below. We're gonna be doing lots of gear reviews. We have the new Sony a7S III here. We got a whole low light series coming out on this. We've got vlogs coming out, so you're gonna wanna stay tuned for that. And we're gonna be testing out some new cameras. We might be getting a Red N. We might be getting the full medium format Fuji camera. We're gonna do some comparisons and lots of behind the scene photo shoots as you guys like. So stay tuned, hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you back here soon for another video.